What do you do?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I work with UNICEF. I'm currently the country coordinator for UNICEF in Austria for the European Refugee and Migrant Crisis Response. So naturally, what I do here in Austria is I'm trying to improve the protection that refugee and migrant children have in their accommodation, in the reception phase, and that it will be easier for them to be integrated into the new life, in a new country, in a new society in Austria. That's part of the core of my job.
What drove you into this field?
Okay, I've been with UNICEF for almost 18 years now. I've been serving UNICEF in a number of countries. I've been all over the world, working in the Middle East and Asia and South America. What drove me into that field is really a difficult question. I mean, when I left school, I studied medicine. I think I tried out a lot of things. And what I found myself most comfortable with was always to serve something to people. And this is why I think I studied medicine in the first place. But I very early on found out that actually that is in a way a frame that's too small. I wanted to do something bigger. And working with UNICEF gave me that opportunity to not help one child or one patient at a time, but to help children in a country. So you're talking about huge amounts of children. You're talking about working with governments. You're talking about working with civil society to improve the framework and conditions for children, which is, I think, a bigger picture view, really, that comes naturally to me and which I found myself most at ease with, let's put it that way.
What is your greatest source of energy?
In a professional way, the kind of recognition that we are getting as an organization, what we achieve for children, that I am getting as an individual for what I'm able to contribute to children and to humanity in a way. And on a personal level, I think it's my family, which gives me the greatest inspiration. I have 2 children myself. I'm currently here in Austria still without them. And I'm missing it, I think my energy at home are my children, my family. My energy in the workplace is the people that I work with and the repercussions that we have through our work in the country, with the government, with the civil society, with the partners that we deal with.
What was your most impressive childhood experience?
I think my greatest childhood memory and my greatest gratitude to my parents is that we traveled extensively the world. And I really feel at home in this world. It doesn't really matter if I wake up in Hong Kong or if I wake up in Buenos Aires or in Vienna. I have this natural embracing of diversity and of different places. And I really do enjoy the change. And I think that really all goes back to this kind of childhood exposure to travel and to new places and to other people and to other cultures.
What is the best advice you've received?
Well, that's a very difficult one. I think in my professional work, I have received a lot of advice that at the end turned out not to be good advice. But I think maybe the best advice that I have received is a simple one, and that is always follow what makes you happy, what fulfills you, and not to listen too much to others. When you feel this is right for you, follow your gut feeling and do it. Again, working with UNICEF was nothing that anybody ever suggested to me as a career profile. I got here, I got there, through really just doing what I enjoyed most, because it turned out that would get out the best in me and would deliver the biggest and greatest and nicest results in return.
If it's not the same, what is the best advice you can give?
I think what's really, really important is to be true. Is to be true to yourself, and I think I just said that. Is to be true to your own desires and aspirations and needs and wishes, but also to be true to others. Not to pretend to be somebody that you are not.
What brings us together?
I'm very firm in my belief that what brings us together is a shared recognition of ethical values, of human values, of appreciation for human rights. That's what brings people together, and that's what brings the right people together who can make a difference. And I think it's incredibly important that we cherish these joint values, whatever they are, in political views or in personal views, in cultural attitudes, in religious mindsets. I think it's important that we stage these communalities and that we give space for the ethical considerations that we have and that shape us as mankind and as human beings.
What makes us human?
I think that's exactly the same. What makes us human are the ethics that we have, are the considerations which are above the daily needs, which are, in a way, the things that have evolved over time and that are deepest and strongest enrooted in mankind.
What is the most courageous decision you've made?
A courageous decision is always to take your family with you into a new place. I mean, we come from different backgrounds. When we move into a new culture, into a new environment, you never know how it's going to shape out. Will your kids be happy there? Will they find new friends in a completely different culture? Will your wife be happy? Will she find a way to realize herself? So it's always a courageous decision to force that onto others. And I'm doing that, every few years. I think as a staff member of the United Nations, that is something which comes with our job and which isn't easy. And I think I consider that as the most courageous decisions which I have to take, where to go next and how to build a new life every 4 years. It's something which is pretty difficult, actually.
What role does spirituality play in your life?
Spirituality plays a very important role, but I want to see spirituality detached from religious considerations. I'm not a religious person, but I'm a spiritual person because I do believe that our perceptions, how we perceive other people, how we perceive ourselves, how we find balance within ourselves, is enormously important if you really want to do a good job and be a faithful servant to humanity. I think this is incredibly important, to be centered, to be balanced, to know about your good sides and your bad sides, and to appreciate that in the other people that you're dealing with on a daily basis.
What does home mean to you?
I think home for me means no particular place. Home for me is where my family are, and that can be anywhere in the world. I think that's really home. It's a surrounding of my children, it's a surrounding of my wife, it's where we would have friends, and where we dwell. That's home, and that it can be anywhere in the world, really.
What is your strongest conviction?
I think my conviction is that we are born into this world to use our strong sides to assist those ones that are weaker, but that we also can count on the help of others to overcome our weak sides. I think we are born as a member of a group, and we as individuals have to find the right connections in that society to really reach fulfillment in the end, and to leave a legacy and to be meaningful to humanity.
Who are you?
I think I'm a citizen of the world. I'm a proud staff of UNICEF and the United Nations. I'm a warrior in the army of the man, and I'm a humble servant of humanity.
What's your name? And if you know, what does it mean?
Well, my name is pretty simple. In English, Rudi. Actually, my real name is Rüdiger. That is, I don't know why my parents called me that way, and as a child I hated them for giving me that name. It only improved when I found out that there's a vampire by the name of Rüdiger. So it makes people laugh when they hear the name. That is my first name. My second name is Luchmann, which is actually, it comes from the Luch, which is an area south of Berlin, which is called the Luch. And that's where my ancestors come from. And funnily enough, as if I would have known that, but that's really the place on earth where I feel most at ease, because that's the spirit of my family maybe that lies there. And that's what means my name.